Yo, what is up, guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and today's topic is gearing in Black Desert in 2026. And before we start, I have something super exciting to share with you guys about the future of gear advice in Black Desert. Many of you guys are already aware that I've hired a developer who's created an automatic loot tracker for Black Desert grinding, and that is currently available for download. You guys can join the beta Discord to test it out. But the exciting part here is that the next update to this video companion app is going to be a gearing advice tab. It isn't ready as of today, but it's really close, and depending on when you're watching this video, you might be able to already give it a try. And the way that this is going to work is you're simply going to navigate to garmalt.com, you will create a gear planner, you then paste that link into the new gear progression tab, and from there, the app will analyze the build in real time. It'll automatically calculate the next best gear upgrade based on marketplace prices for your selected region, and it'll give you step-by-step summaries on what to go for next. This feature, along with the already available loot tracker, will be free for you to use, and I'm really excited for when I can share this next step for you all to try. If you guys want to be notified about when the gear tab is going to be live, or simply already just download and use the already available loot tracking, then feel free to join the Video Companion Discord to stay up to date. The link is going to be in the bio of this video, as well as pinned in the comments. One more exciting announcement is that Perlibus has brought back the revenue share partner codes. If you guys remember this event from a couple of years ago, as long as you guys are purchasing new A-Coin from now until February the 5th, you can enter in my code CHOICE, which will directly help me fund these types of projects. Developers are not cheap, and this is honestly only the beginning of the features I would love to add to the Video Companion app. So every time you enter my code, Perlibus will take a portion of what you spent, they give it to me, and I can then use that to fund future development. So if you guys like these types of projects, if you guys find value in the loot tracker, or you think that this gear advice tab is like a really good idea, I would be very appreciative if you guys could use my code CHOICE, and all that funding can just go towards new features and things that I want to add. So thank you guys so much for that, and on to the gear advice. So this right here is a very basic gear score that you're going to have when you're graduating from your season. I won't go through how to get full pen Tuvala. This is something that you should just be learning along the way as you're going through a season, and there's lots of like new player Tuvala enhancement guides, but your goal by the end of the season should just be to have full pen Tuvala. And once you graduate from the season, you're going to be given a lot of different freebies here. And let's go through what your gear should look like post-season graduation. A couple of assumptions we're going to make is that you're graduating with full pen Tuvala and you're at least level 61. Those are some pretty easy bite-sized goals for you to go for. But once you graduate, some of the basic stuff you're going to be getting is you are going to be getting a pen armor for hitting level 60 and graduating. So you can get yourself a Dim Tree Spirit armor. Additionally, if you also graduate, you get a Griffin helmet at pen. If you do a very basic Magnus quest line, which requires just a couple of quests now, they've made it a lot faster. You get a Pen's Begs gloves, and then if you talk to Jatina, she'll be able to exchange these Tuvala shoes into some Tet Uragon shoes. So that's going to give you an additional little bit of boost in DR. Another free thing is there's a quest line to get a Khan's Heart. So I recommend that you join a guild that does Khan each week. And at least for 3 weeks, you're going to be getting the Khan's Heart of Destruction, which is a very nice 2 AP upgrade. Something else to consider as well is make sure that you are doing all of your journals. So there is a 10th anniversary journal as well as all of this. This is going to be a total of 10 AP DP that you should be doing post-season or even working on it during the season. Something else you're going to be getting for free is Kaposia accessories. So when you graduate, you're going to get a Kaposia accessory from Fugar. You can get a Kaposia accessory from killing 100 monsters. You get a Kaposia accessory for doing a Dark Rift. And you also get a Kaposia accessory for reaching level 61. You also get a Kaposia earring at Try, I believe, for hitting level 60 or 61 or something like that. And then you just have like a Tuvala earring, or, you know, they might even just give you a base Kaposia you might find sitting around. So this is what your gear score should look from your accessories and armors POV after a season, as well as Elkstone. Something else that you get for level 61 and some basic questline stuff is you will be given a Black Star weapon, as well as a Tet Black Star as well. So if you play Succession, you should be choosing the main hand Black Star. And if you play Awakening, you should be choosing the Awakening Black Star. But in this case, we're going to just say that you are a Succession player and you've got this Tet Black Star. Then from there, that Tet Black Star that you're given should be on your offhand. And this is what your gear score looks right now. As soon as the Olvia Academy comes out, things are going to change quite drastically because we're going to get 2 additional other opportunities to be getting a Pen Black Star. You're going to be given a stone which can guarantee enhance this Tet Black Star to a pen. And then we're also going to just be simply getting another Pen Black Star, which you can then use to make this into a sovereign weapon from graduating the Olvia Academy. So this sovereign weapon, you should at least get this up to, I would say, Tri and even Tet at this point is rather free. And even if you have extra Cron stones from like, say, just the Calpheon Ball codes or anything like that that you may have entered, that should be pretty easy for you to get up to Pen at this point. Now, once your gear score looks like this, I would continue to work on your offhand at this point. So things that you should be saving up for. Actually, before we do that, what you should save up for is probably some Kabua's artifacts. So Kabua's artifacts are pretty cheap and low-hanging fruit for the extra 20 extra monster DR, and these are endgame things. These are things that you're going to be using all the way up to 900 gear score. So I recommend that you, at this point, look at buying a couple of Kabua's. There's a lot of adventure support funds that you get given for different quest lines, and it's going to be helpful to have that extra DR. Another thing I would look at upgrading at this point is your Kaposia belt. If you do the quest line from Fugar, which essentially allows you to enhance that Pen Kaposia belt that you had up to a Deck Kaposia belt, you can then exchange it for a Tet Karazad belt. And this is going to be about a 3 AP gain, so that's going to be pretty nice for you to do. Additionally, after you've played the game for 200 hours, you are going to be given a free Garmoth heart. You should definitely put that on your weapon in order to get an extra 3 AP there. The next thing I'd work on is just fixing the rest of your accessories. So right now, you could get yourself a Tet Karazad ring as well as another one, and then getting some Karazad earrings to try. Typically, the way that you're going to want to do that is enhance these up to Try, then enhance these up to Try, and then enhance these to Tet. And that's going to be a pretty big bump in AP up to 316. And now at this point, you really should probably be looking at fixing up your armors a little bit more. So what you should be doing is getting this armor, like getting your Urgon shoes and Beg's gloves and stuff, like upgrading these to Duo Fallen God gear is probably a good idea. So Dawn's gloves, the Tor shoes, just like purchasing a full suite of Duo armors across the board. Except I would potentially stop short on, say, the chest piece, and I would recommend that there is a, you'd have to look at the marketplace price. It costs about 30 billion silver to do, but ultimately you can get yourself a Fallen God armor at Silent, as long as you are upgrading a Pen Kaposia armor from Pen to Hex all the way up to Deck. It's a part of the Fugar quest line that can give you a direct exchange to a Silent Fallen God armor. So that is something that you could consider. Otherwise, it might even just be cheaper to purchase a Duo and just like in the future buy a Tet, for example, could be something that you consider. But I'd say going for the Try is not a bad plan. But once your gear looks like this, you're at primary Hex Sanctuary territory. Your DP is definitely high enough. Your AP is definitely high enough. And at this point, you're really just going to be looking at upgrading your offhand. So one other Black Star exchange that you still have available at this point is going to be the Deck Tuvala offhand, and that's going to be by getting a Pen Kaposia offhand, getting it to Hex, enhancing it to Deck, and then ultimately getting 20,000 Kaphra stones, and then you can get yourself a Sovereign Ornamental Knot. Enhancing it up to Tet should be pretty free at this point. Something that you should also be considering around this time is you should be upgrading this Vel's Heart. So now you've been grinding Hex Sanctuary for a while. Hopefully you've got some Exalted Cups, like a Blessed Cup and Exalted Cup sitting around. As soon as you buy a Vel's Heart, you're going to be able to enhance this up to Exalted. And then from here, you're really just going to be looking at a Pen Kaposia necklace replacement. So that's going to ultimately look like you buying a Deboreka necklace at Pen. There is a 1-to-1 exchange from a Pen Deboreka that you can exchange this all the way up to a Nov Karazad. And once you get a Nov Karazad, you're going to be sitting at 347 AP. And then you just simply enhance this to Pen, you enhance this to Hex, and now you have the AP requirement for Jordan and Adana. But you are missing your DP requirement. So what I would recommend at this point is you probably want to enhance this. You don't want to enhance this, actually. You want to purchase this at TET. I think buying this at TET is a really good idea at this point. And then I would suggest enhancing this to TET is not a bad idea, especially if you have a big fail stack that you could be using, like maybe a 280 stack, for example, or a 300 even. A large stack that you can enhance these up to TET. Because as soon as you hit 427 DP 350, you now meet Jordan requirements. There are some free stones or some cheap stones you can get from Pride Deboreka exchanges, but you should definitely be looking to get these at base at least as soon as you get them to TET, because that's a 11 DR boost each one, so that's pretty noticeable. But once your AP and DP is around this point, you really need to start replacing this Tuvala Buster, right? Because another requirement is you're going to have to replace this thing with some extra monster damage from a Black Star. And so you could have potentially gotten this to TET a long time ago, but at least getting it to Pen now at this point is part of the Jordan requirements, and that's something that I would definitely consider around this time. Now, once your gear is looking like this, gearing is very simple now within BDO because it really just is bouncing between the AP and the DP requirements of each given boss. So the next boss's requirements are going to be 375 in Adonia, and then there's 440 DP that you're going to need to get. So we're going to start off with the AP, and the best way to build up the AP is simply just getting a full suite of Pen Deboreka accessories and exchanging them for Nov Karazods. So that one-to-one exchange is very powerful because Debos are way cheaper than enhancing these to Nov. So you're going to want to just simply buy Pen Deberekas and then replace them with the quest line to Nov, and all of a sudden, you're now 375. Once this is done, you now need to work on your DP. The cheapest way to do the DP would be to buy 2 silent armors and then sell your duos. And then from there, you want to enhance these up to at least TET and Try, and that's how you're going to be able to hit 440 DP. And then from there, it really just revolves around you getting the AP requirements now for Orbita. And Orbita-wise, the cheapest way to do that is going to simply be going for Sep on your main hand, followed by Deck on your necklace. Once you're done with that, you probably want to go Hex on your offhand. And then realistically, Orbiter requirement is going to require 2 Oct weapons. So at this point in time, you probably would go Sep on your offhand, then you'd go Oct on your Awakening, then you would go Oct on your offhand, and then you'd have to go Deck on your belt. And that's how you're going to hit 385. Now, at this point in time, the way that you're going to hit that 445 DP is it's just going to be going for Pen and going for Pen, and now you all of a sudden have the Orbiter requirements. At this point, you really need to replace this Black Star with a Sovereign. So get yourself a Sovereign, at least to Try. You could even get it up to TET if you really want the glow, but at a minimum, I'd say Try. And this is going to allow you to finally get the Sovereign Reforged stones, like you get the Reforged stones. Something I forgot to mention is that once you get this Black Star to Pen right at 350, 427, make sure that you are looking at getting a Garmoth Heart, because that does give you 2 additional crystal slots, so that's super worthwhile right as soon as you meet the Jordan requirements. So once your DP and AP is looking like this, you really just need to get up to 395 AP, and there's no getting around it. You just have to get all Deck on every accessory except for 1, and you're going to need to go for Nov on your main hand weapon to hit 390. Now you just need to get your DP up to snuff at this point. I think that this is a good time to really just focus hard on getting your DP up, and that's probably going to mean just replacing these Dawn's Gloves with Tets, getting Pen Idana, replacing this with Tet, and then getting Pen Idana. In fact, a lot of people are going to go all the way up to potentially even Oct Idana. This is up to you at this point. If you want to just go full up to your DP after 390, you can go all the way to 477 DP, because at this point, the next boss requires Deck weapons, and that's a really far away goal. But at least once your armors are Pen or Oct, up to you, you can then go for Deck on your accessories. You would then go for Nov on your offhand. You go Deck on your main hand, and then you go Deck on your offhand, and now you're 395, and you meet the requirements for the Caphras boss. And then obviously at this point, the only thing that's left is to go full Nov on everything, and then full Deck on everything. And boom, Along the way, as you're grinding Adana, obviously your Kabuas will be upgraded to Herald's Kabuas, but we're not really focusing too much on that. Like, it's just kind of something that happens passively as you've been grinding in Adania. And boom, you are now at the very end of gearing in Black Desert. And something else that I want to mention is that if you guys like more of a text format of gearing guide, my suggestion for you is to join the Discord for the Discord called Black Desert Gear Guides. It's made by another streamer, Ginny, and she has put together a very extensive gearing guide. And this gearing guide that you guys actually watched today follows the logic in her gearing guide. This is something that her and I worked on together, but she majorly put all of this together, and it's a really, really good, well thought out gear guide. It's always under construction, so this is something that'll be updated as the Olvi Academy comes out. But from here, it's going to show you all of the things that I simply just talked about, and it's going to have a lot of similarities. And all you have to do is just say, hey, my gear score is between 819 and 830. You click on this, you find a screenshot that aligns with what your gear kind of looks like, and then from there, you follow the next steps along. So she does a pretty good job. It's pretty much exactly what I said. You can see some things are not quite the same, like, but we're splitting hairs here. Like, it's if you followed one or the other, it's gonna get you in the right direction at like nearly the same efficiency. But overall, I think it's a really it's extremely well done, and I would check it out if you want the text guide. Once again, I will link that in the description. But yes, guys, that is it for the gearing guide. I hope that you guys found this extremely helpful. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who made it to the end of the video. Make sure you guys drop a sub on the channel. And remember, if you guys are buying a coin from now until that date in February, I believe it is the 5th, then make sure to use code CHOICE if you would like to support the future of the automatic gear advice bot that we are going to be unveiling here in January. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.